We're still trying to assess all the damages. The boys are trying to cover up the hole in the roof where we lost the cupola. And it's obviously a total loss. It's in the parking lot out front.
Yeah.
These aircraft will be assessed by the insurance adjuster, and then there's a crew out of Vernon, Texas that does aircraft recovery that are coming in. They're en route now. Once they get here, we'll have a little better idea of what they think the aircraft damage is.
A couple of your fuel trucks look like they caught it pretty bad here.
First glance, it looks like they're a total loss, but until we get the aircraft out of the way, we won't really be able to assess that either.
Was it really kind of restricted just to the cupola and then these two planes that were here?
There's a couple of other hangar buildings with some damage, and maybe 4 other aircraft that were on the field, 2 that were tied down inside of an open hangar, and then a couple of doors blew in on one hangar, and the aircraft got pushed back into the corner, rubbing a little. The damage from there was just one aircraft getting into the next.
Look like you've already got some crews that are doing some work here.
We worked last night. As soon as the cupola went off the building, we went to work moving furniture and getting stuff out of the way and trying to mop up as best we could while it was still raining. As soon as it quit raining, we began to get some assets in place to cover the roof, and we worked on it till probably 2 a.m. when we all went away, and then came back this morning a little before 8 and got back on it.
Put something up there just to keep the rain out in case we get more?
Yeah, last night that was the goal, was just to get the hole covered in case it continued to rain. And then once we got into the daylight today to assess what the damage is and how we best cover and to protect us from the elements until we can get a roofing crew in here to fix it.
What's Eric Hill's role here?
Fire department stopped by last night. I called them right off so that we could assess if there was any damage to the trucks that might create a hazard from the spill. It was still in the midst of the storm while we were out here checking that. We determined pretty quickly that the fuel reserves, the tanks on the trucks, were not penetrated.
Okay.
So whatever fuel spill is here was just what was in the wings on the aircraft, and I don't believe it spilled out of all of the planes. Just based on what I'm seeing, I think the spill was minimal.
The guys are here they'll be carting these planes away as best they can, I guess, when they get the go ahead. Everything's been checked.
I'm really not sure how that'll play out. The insurance adjuster is here, and like I said, the recovery crew is en route. So this is all new to me, this aspect of it, so I won't know until they get here.
Did anybody actually see these planes flying through the air or going through it must have been a sight to see.
I don't believe anybody saw it. I was en route to the airport. I'd run an errand, pick up some supplies at Lowe's, and with the intention of getting back here before the storm hit. Stanley Foster was working line service yesterday and was in the building. I was coming through the traffic light down at Joe Bob's when he called and said the cupola just lifted off the building.
My goodness.
So it was, and at that point, I don't know what it was like here, but where I was, I could hardly see. I bet I couldn't see 100 feet.
Yeah.
So visibility was very restricted just because of the rain. So I don't believe anybody saw it happen. Once we pulled up, obviously, it was obvious that it had happened.
Yeah. Communication tower, is that what's down there?
Yeah, the other piece damaged with the terminal was the tower, the radio tower. So our communications are maybe back up now, depending on. I see the guys have left, so I guess our comms are back up here. But power was off until after 2. When we left, power was still off, and it was sometime between then and 6 this morning came back up.
Are you closed for traffic to receive any planes in here with no communication or anything?
Airport's open, and it's not required that aircraft communicate with the ground. Now, the Unicom frequency is operational, so aircraft can communicate with each other and announce their intentions.
Yeah.
So technically, we're open for business. We're just limited as to services we can provide right now.